Hi, I'm the American Prince Charles III, and I want to welcome you to my Castle Life. First of all, about me. I'm an author, arranger, composer, performer. I'm also a 20-year Navy veteran, and upon retiring from the military, I went to the Los Angeles Film School of Hollywood, California. So, I love writing. I love filmmaking. I love telling a story. My goal here is to help you tell your story to the world. Bring it together. Maybe you have this story, but you just don't know where to start. Well, that's where I'm going to come in to help you get your story from start, middle to the end, and for the world to see. So you may say, well, Charles, I have a story, but that's good and dandy, but where do I start with this thing? Well, you're going to start at the beginning. Everybody needs to know this. A story has a 3-act structure, okay? 3. Not 4, not 5. A 3-act structure. You have the beginning, the middle, and the end. Now in the beginning, you're going to start your story off with a setup of some sort. Where you want the story to start. You know, how do you want your story to start? Where you want to take us? Because in the film world, we call that, what is our opening shot? Yeah. What is our opening shot? Where you want to take me? When I first start reading that story, where do you want to take me? Because remember, it's your story to guide me where I need to be. So you want to start out, I use the 5 W's and a H. For me, it's what, when, where, why, and why not. And the H would be, well, how? How are you going to do all these things? If you tie all those things in, I'm telling you something, you're going to have a story for the world to just want to die to read. You're going to have a story that would definitely put you on top. Now, it's not going to always be easy, but it doesn't necessarily have to be hard. You know what I mean? So I want to start out with, let's start out with a setup, okay? Let's say I am going to go to the beach. I want to go to the beach with my friends, but something happens that I can't really make it to the beach because there's a conflict. There's something going on. So in the first part of your story, we know the setup is, Charles, I want to go to the beach, but there's a conflict, there's a setup, there's something going on that's preventing that. But we started out with the setup, who wants to go to the beach? Charles. So now we have a character. Where does he want to go? What does he want to go? He want to go to the beach. What does he want to do? He want to hang out with his friends, obviously, right? So these are the easiest ways and the easiest steps to start with a 3-act structure. You want to start out with the beginning, the middle. Well, I want to go to the beach, but now something is rising. There is a confrontation of some sort. Maybe I can get to the beach, but I can't get to the beach. You know what I mean? Something is going on. Maybe I can't get out the house. Maybe my grandma doesn't want me to go. Maybe my pa doesn't want me to go. Maybe my significant other doesn't want me to go. Maybe I want to go, but I don't want to go because I want to stay and watch something that's pressing on TV. So there are many ways that conflict can come into the whole scenario, into your storyline, that'll build that tension. You got to have that tension and it starts from the first setup. And remember this, in the beginning of your story, guess what? You can have conflict there too. Conflict can be in all 3 acts of your story. All 3 sections. The beginning, the middle, and the end. But where and how you place the conflict is going to be crucial to making sure your story carries itself. And you keep your readers and the eaters, because we're going to be eating in the movie too. Hopefully your story will become a movie. But we want to make sure you keep your readers definitely engaged. So to do that, what you want to do is keep the story moving along. And move along. Don't let it stagnate. Move it along. And when you do that, you're going to be hooking the readers. And that is amazing. And that's essential to storytelling. And not just storytelling, but great storytelling. It's hooking that reader. Now, in the beginning, we're going to we're creating our character. We're doing the setup. We are perhaps throwing in a confrontation or some sort of conflict. And it's going to carry on over to the middle, baby. When it gets to that middle, baby, it's going to be problems. Because in the middle is where you're going to start making this problem just kind of mix all together with the beginning of the story. And you're going to have your two individuals that you always pretty much need for a story. And I'm going to say you always need. It's a protagonist who's the good guy and an antagonist who's the bad guy, right? Now, I have to tell you, to do this sort of antagonist and protagonist, or protagonist and antagonist the right way, you really need to build interesting characters, and you need to put an antagonist, which is the bad guy. You need to make sure that antagonist is somebody that you love to hate. If you can get somebody that you love to hate, I'm going to tell you something. You got a winner. Now, for me, I could think of a story, a movie in particular, Misery. Kathy Bates. Wow. If you haven't seen Misery, you're cheating yourself. You're doing yourself a disservice. You need to go watch Misery. Misery is a movie that will entertain you. It'll keep you at the edge of your seat. It starts out not too slow, but it builds upon the complexity of the characters and the friction, and everything that ties it together makes that story just rocks. Misery. Now that's one I can definitely say I love. Now another story that I think is really good with conflict. I'm going to say, now a lot of people might say, well, are you serious? But I'm going to say, yeah. And I'm going to say Poltergeist. Poltergeist is a story, it's dealing with the otherworldly, spirits, but there's a conflict there. Caroline supposedly would be the light for the spirits that need to be got into heaven. So they want this young girl, Caroline, to help guide them into the light. There's a conflict there because Caroline can't leave Earth. If she leaves Earth to do this, she's dead. She's going with them into the light. So her parents are fighting desperately to keep her from going into the light and for these spirits taking her on over to the other side. So there's a real big conflict in more of a supernatural feeling, if you will. Conflict can move the story along, and the more tension and the more conflict you have, the better your story is going to be. But make the conflict be more realistic. Don't give us conflict that would be just really hard to believe. Don't give us such a hard pill to swallow that it just doesn't make sense or it's just too unbelievable, If you're going to do that, make sure the story in the beginning is a big fantasy story where we all understand this is really, a fantasy story. If you're trying to really pull us on the side of reality, give us a real good conflict that can really possibly happen, Make us really wonder. With Poltergeist, yes, it's dealing with spirits, but all of us wonder, are there ghosts? At least most of us. If we really don't believe there are ghosts, or we believe there are ghosts, you're going to have those who do and those who don't. But regardless of where you stand on the fence with that, that is a topic that really, really intrigues people's minds. So Misery deals with the man that's writing the story, but this lady is such a fan of the story he wrote until when he decides to write off the main character in his story that he wrote, she's ready to kill him. Hello? What gives? But anyway, so in order to do that, in order for him to not write this character off, she keeps him in her home after he has a near fatal car accident on a snowy road. So, with that goes believability. You can believe somebody just driving down a snowy road and lose control of their car and crashes, and someone rescues you, just so happen to be your number one fan. And those of you who watch Misery definitely know what I'm talking about. What is your story? What is your favorite movie? Maybe you have a antagonist, a bad guy, that you love to hate. Why don't you leave the comments in below, right down here in the section here. Tell me what movie you love. What movie you could say, you know what, that antagonist in this movie rocked me the wrong way, or the protagonist rubbed me the right way. I want to know what movies that you guys have watched that have really stuck in your head and in your hearts. This is magic when it comes to story writing. When you can write something that's going to stick in a person's mind and in their hearts and they feel it, guess what? You just created magic. And that's what Hollywood is all about. That's what storytelling is all about. Creating a magic to make people believe that this is real. This is happening today. This is absolutely crazy. Armageddon is another one that deals with a protagonist. But check this out. It deals with an antagonist. Do you know the antagonist in the Armageddon and, let's say, asteroids, it's not a person at all. It's a meteorite. So your antagonist doesn't always have to be a person. It could be a thing. It could be an animal. Let's say you're stuck in a cave and you're trying to get out this cave. You got a movie or you have a story that's centered around you getting out of a cave. You're the protagonist. You're the good guy, right? But you're trying to get out of there. What's at the exit of the cave, though? It's a man-eating bear. And he's hungry. Now you got to get around out that cave, bypass that bear. The antagonist in this case is a bear. It's an animal. So it doesn't always have to be a person. I don't want you to think that. So when we build a conflict in the middle part of our story, we're building it from the beginning of the story. We're adding on to it. We're building our story. We have to have a resolution, right? Now the resolution or the solving of our problem is going to come at the end of our story. Now I want to say this. I did say you have what, when, where, why, and why not. If you add those W's in your story, you're going to have a good story because you can answer those things with what you're writing. And then the H, how? How are you going to do it all? How are you going to make this all tie together like a bowl of ingredients that's going to be held together by the egg, and you're going to put other ingredients in order to form that delicious cake, right? But it all has to come together, and it has to come together in such a way where it's perfectly balanced. It's not a hard thing to do. Now, it does take practice, but hey, that's why we're here, right? We're here to work, get better each time at what we do. I get better at it each time I write. But notice I said each time I write, I get better at it. I don't just start and stop. You have to practice and write and write. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. Now let's get to the ending of our 3-act structure. The ending. You can actually have, remember I said in the beginning, you can have a climax in the beginning, you can have a climax in the middle, you can have a climax in the ending. A climax is that tipping point where it's just so much tension, it's so much going on, you just don't know where to start. A climax can be perfectly placed at the beginning in the third stage or the third step of your story in the ending. It's probably best to put the climax right there at the beginning so you can have the resolution, the solving of the issue that brought all the beginning, the middle, everything that happened in between there. You're going to bring it at the very end and in the ending of the story with the climax coming to an end, a resolution. You see, so you tie it all together and you're going to have yourself a story. Now, you may say, well, Charles, that sounds nice and dandy and all, and you've really been through that. But remember something here. A story is practice. Practicing writing makes for a good story. And one thing I've learned to do is practice with my writing. I also read a lot. When you read other stories, other authors, other storylines, even scripts for movies, it gives you a sense of learning to get in the workflow, in the mindset of writing. And that's very important when you're starting out to write. Will it be easy? Not necessarily. Will it be hard? Not necessarily. It could be what you make it to be. Because remember, you have a story to tell. And the only person that really can tell your story is you. So what I made a promise to myself to do for my Castle Life and for my fans and for the subscribers here and those who want to know and learn how to write, I made myself a promise that I'm going to not just show you and tell you and speak to you about how to do it. I'm going to actually act it out. So I want you to watch this clip that I acted out for you guys, and see how I bring a short story. It's a minute and 53 seconds long. I'm gonna bring this short story bring it to you by showing you how you can do a beginning, a middle, and an end. Okay, just like that fast. And I want you to see if I can do it, you can do it, and you can make sure that I'm nobody magical here. I'm just trying to tell you, it comes with practice. Practice makes perfect. Now, will we ever be perfect with it? No. But we could be good enough to say, wow, I wrote that, and that, yeah, it does sound good. Yeah, it's not bad. Okay, so let's watch this little clip I did to show you how a 3-act structure story should look. My precious, I have awesome news. My friends just called me and they asked me if I can go with them on the beach in the area and just and get the horses and ride them down there. And I take good care of them. I be careful, my precious. They asked me to go with them, my precious, and I did everything I was supposed to do.
You do your chores?
Yeah, I made my bed. I washed my laundry. And I swept the floor.
Your pa's gonna be angry if you don't do all
I
that.
brush him. I'm so excited, my precious.
You got
I did everything I was
coronavirus?
supposed to do.
Coughing.
He wouldn't mind. I'll be careful with him. I did everything I was supposed to do. You asked me to do.
Oh, well, good, cause school called.
I had so many people asking me, hey Charles, you got to do my precious in your part, man. You just got to do it. I said, okay, I'll do it. But let me tell you something. It was fun, and it's not that hard. And storytelling can be just that easy, just that quick. Beginning, middle, and end. It doesn't have to be an hour or 2 hours long. I think that was an hour. I think that was a minute and 53 seconds long or something like that. It wasn't that long at all. And most of the clips I'm going to do for each section I showed you guys, I'm going to act them out to let you see I'm not just talking it, I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show you how you bring it together, how it should look on screen. Maybe that'll help you with writing it out. You know, and if you have anything you want me to act out to help bring it to life for you, write it in the comments below. If you have any ideas or suggestions, write it in the comments below. I'm here to help serve you to get your story out to the world to hear, read, see, or experience, okay? I am the American Prince Charles III. I appreciate you taking the time out to watch my Castle Life. Make sure you subscribe, comment, click the bell, and I am honored to have you on board. Take care of yourselves, and remember, social distancing, 6 feet at least, wash your hands, wear a mask. God bless you.